terms of the total amount of information being processed. You can see from some of the discussions today what the reasons driving that are. The primary generator of this data is currently surveillance cameras all around the world. If you've ever been to Hangzhou in China, you will see there's HiPEAC Vision and Dahua are based there. They're two big Intel customers, and there's a huge initiative in China to basically build inference into the cameras, because currently you can look at about 1% of the camera imagery. People are claiming that there's about 2,500 petabytes of data being generated per day at the edge in these surveillance cameras. So, about 2.5 exabytes per day. It's absolutely enormous torrent of information. Basically, the edge compute market is probably growing at 40x what the cloud is growing at. So this is, for academics and for new businesses, this represents an enormous opportunity, really once in the lifetime opportunity. And you can see again from some of the applications that are running here that this is very exciting stuff, and it's stuff where you can see a pretty immediate impact in terms of getting a product to market. I won't bore you with this stuff. Intel does everything from the edge to the cloud. I suppose the interesting thing I want to say is that Intel does systems that span everything there, from smart cities through to drones, etc. In fact, anybody who's used any of the recent DJI drones, there's probably got a Movidius Intel processor inside it. Myriad X, we have a very nice demo from Corey and my team outside if you want to go and have a look and understand. He'll give you a pretty unvarnished account of and by Michael, by the same token, will give you a pretty unvarnished account of what it's like to develop for the platform. But you can basically get the platform in a pretty cheap, $79 format that'll run with USB. It's supported by some pretty interesting tooling that Intel has introduced. I'll just skip ahead to that. Called OpenVINO, which you can download for free off the web. And the interesting thing about that is that you can deploy that on everything from Ubuntu through Windows through to the Raspberry Pi. In fact, Corey's demo, person detection demo is running outside on OpenVINO on the neural compute stick plugged into a Raspberry Pi. And I guess the thing there is you can get very quickly to a working solution, and from something that'll run currently runs on a desktop. So I think it for people who want to get their edge AI inference into the wild, it's an interesting way to do it. Compared to the first generation product, which Fintan showed, the Myriad 2, Myriad X is offering about 10 times, 8 to 10 times the performance within the same power and cost envelope. And that, in terms of, people like to talk numbers, I guess it's over 4 teraops that we're offering in terms of the compute there at less than 2 watts. So, I think the numbers speak for themselves. And on board, that I suppose the big departures from the previous generation would be, we have the same shave processor, but we have a lot of hardware support for things like dewarping, ISP, and so on. So it's not just an inference platform, really. You can build a complete product that does, it can handle up to 8 cameras simultaneously, process all of those, do all of the image signal processing required to provide a clean image that you can do inference on. And it has all the backhaul to a host processor or whatever. You can either run it completely self-contained, like the demo that Corey shows outside, or let's say a lot of the work that Michael and his team have been doing, or you can have this as a co-processor to an existing system, let's say something like a Raspberry Pi. So I won't bore you any longer, because probably everybody's getting hungry and bored at this stage. What I would say is that we're very much open for business. We're hiring in Dublin. Check our website. Talk to me afterwards. We're also going to be running internships again this year, and if there's any compiler people who'd like to come to Dublin, I think there's particular pressing interest in compiler people for our compiler team in Dublin. So thank you very much for coming this morning, and thank you very much to all the people who contributed to make this, I think, a very interesting session.